Hey everyone, my name is Scott, and I've been reviewing movies on YouTube for about 8 months now on a series called Does This Movie Suck? The downside to watching almost exclusively bad movies is that you don't really know me. You don't know what I consider to be a good movie. So I thought I'd take a few moments to list off my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Now with any top 5 favorite movie list, this is not a comprehensive list of the best movies I've ever seen. It's just my favorite. I think Schindler's List is a masterpiece of modern cinema, but I'm not going to run into a party and yell, "Hey everybody, let's watch Schindler's List!" I think you get my point. So having said that, let's get started. Here's my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Number 5.
There are 7 deadly sins, Captain. Gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, pride, lust, and envy. 7.
Hold on. That's not even my desk.
You can expect 5 more of these.
David Fincher's Seven may be a downright perfect psychological thriller. The film stars Morgan Freeman as Somerset, a detective on the edge of retirement, and Brad Pitt as Mills, Somerset's new partner. The men meet while investigating a serial killer whose theme is the 7 deadly sins. When I was younger, the tension and grisliness that layers this film is what drew me to it. The movie feels like a wet blanket that's relentless in its constriction. But as I got older, the film's quieter moments are what draw me in. Take this conversation for example. Mills is arguing that Somerset's motivations may be buried.
You should listen to yourself. Yeah, you say that the problem with people is that they don't care. So I don't care about people. It makes no sense. You know why?
You care.
You want to know? Damn right.
And you're gonna make a difference.
Whatever. The point is that I don't think you're quitting because you believe these things you say. I don't. I think you want to believe them because you're quitting.
Or this scene where Mills' wife, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, confides her reservations about motherhood to Somerset.
If you don't keep the baby, I mean, if that's your decision, don't ever tell him that you were pregnant. But if you choose to have this baby, you spoil that kid every chance you get. That's about all the advice I can give you, Tracy.
These quieter scenes, this connective tissue, is what keeps me coming back to Seven time after time, year after year. It's a magnificent film. Moving on, number 4. There are certain films that I believe should be required viewing as you're growing up. For example, elementary school kids should be sat down and made to watch The Goonies.
Go join your friends, you wiggles!
Middle schoolers should have to see Stand By Me.
You guys want to go see a dead body?
High school freshmen should be made to watch The Breakfast Club.
What in God's name is going on in here? What was that ruckus?
What ruckus?
I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.
Could you describe the ruckus, sir?
Watch your tongue, young man, watch it.
And just before graduation, high schoolers should be sat down in front of American Graffiti.
Hey, sweetheart, if the prize is you, I'm a ready teddy.
Well, get bent, turkey. Very funny. What a job.
And at the start of your senior year, you should see my number 4 favorite movie of all time.
They bought it.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off is the first movie I really remember watching over and over, so much so that I quickly wore out my VHS copy of it. If you don't know the plot of the film, just stop this video right now and go watch it. Take the day off work if you have to. John Hughes always had a way of understanding teenagers. With this film, he nailed the teenage feeling of not living up to your parents' expectations.
Who do you love? Who do you love? You love a car. Bitch.
And your own expectations. He captured the feeling of doing what you want under the nose of authority and your parents. Matthew Broderick's Ferris is the perfect Hughes protagonist. The girls want to be with him, the guys want to be him.
The sportos, the motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Hughes created the benchmark for a single, non-replicatable, awesome day off school. The movie is fun, well-written, well-acted, and iconic of 80s teen romps. It's just simply a lot of fun, and it's immediately watchable. It came out when I was 6 years old, and it's been a favorite of mine ever since I was old enough to watch it. Alright, moving on. Number 3.
I don't know anything about Ryan. I don't care. Man means nothing to me. It's just a name. But if... You know, if going to Ramel and finding him so he can go home, if that earns me the right to get back to my wife, well, then that's my mission.
It's one thing to create a masterpiece, it's another thing altogether to create a masterpiece that changes an entire genre of film. With Saving Private Ryan, Steven Spielberg changed how war films would be shot forever. Gone were the days of John Wayne riding in and saving the day. Those clean-cut films were forever replaced by the gritty, violent, and in-your-face pacing that Saving Private Ryan began. This film was an absolute game changer, without which Flags of Our Fathers, Letters from Iwo Jima, and The Hurt Locker would have never been created. Saving Private Ryan is not a fun movie to watch. It doesn't get me grinning ear to ear like the next two movies. But it is so jaw-droppingly good that it's hard not to just sit down and watch it whenever presented the chance. It's just an amazing film. Alright, moving on. Number 2.
Alan, this species of Variformin's been extinct since the Cretaceous period. I mean, this thing is about this thing. What?
Jurassic Park is the first movie that blew my mind. Still today, it's shocking to me how good this movie is. How it slow burns to the first dino reveal. How fully realized the characters are. How intense and immersive the entire film is. It all still holds up to this day. This is peak Spielberg, and with Jurassic Park he proved that not only is he one of our nation's best filmmakers, but he can create a film that stands the test of time. I mean, look at the sequence. This film was made in 1993, with 1993 computer technology, and with the exception of one scene, everything looks real, photorealistically real, still to this day. Using a mix of practical and digital effects, Spielberg's team created a film that will still hold up in another 23 years. Minus a few quirks.
It's an interactive CD-ROM! It's a Unix system. I know this.
Yeah, it was 1993. That was cutting-edge stuff. But just like Seven, my favorite scenes in Jurassic Park have become the quieter moments. This scene, for instance, where the group is debating the ramifications of reintroducing dinosaurs into the modern world.
You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You want to sell it. Well,
I don't think you're giving us our due credit. Our scientists have done things which nobody's ever done before.
yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Goldblum's speech here is one of my favorite moments of the film, any Spielberg film really. Good filmmaking stands the test of time, and we'll still be quoting, watching, and discussing Jurassic Park for a long time to come. Plus that score, John Williams is a genius. And now, number 1. There is some debate to be had that Jurassic Park is actually a better film than my number 1 favorite film. Almost from any angle you can make that argument. But my favorites are my favorites, and this movie has been my favorite movie since I was a little kid. I remember watching it in my parents' house on RCA video disc, which is a format that no one remembers. It was a big, just record thing that you'd have to flip over halfway through watching the movie. But I remember that, and I remember my experience with it, and it became my favorite movie. It's a movie that's funny, exciting, makes you proud to be an American, and it just oozes New York City. Literally. Here's my number one favorite movie.
We got one!
In my mind, Ghostbusters is the quintessential American comedy. It's a damn near perfect film from beginning to end. With the exception of a couple bad mats, the film still holds up today and is immediately watchable.
It's right here, Ray. It's looking at me.
He's an ugly little spud, isn't he?
I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move. It won't hurt you.
Everything about this film is spot on, from the scripting by Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd with healthy ad-libbing by Bill Murray,
He slimed me.
to the incredible score by Elmer Bernstein. There's nothing like Ghostbusters. It's one of those truly lightning-in-a-bottle movies. Heck, they couldn't even recreate their own magic for the sequel. There's 2 points I'd like to emphasize. The first point's this: Rick Moranis' performance is downright brilliant. And lastly, I don't think there's any kind of chemistry harder than what Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver create in this film. Full-on chemistry is easy. Hating each other is easy. But this slow leak of chemistry that occurs in this film is a great acting feat. How many times do you leave a movie theater and say, oh man, they kind of fell in love really quickly? That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my God. Look at all the junk food.
Ghostbusters is a movie that wins you over almost immediately and proves that a dimwit,
Symmetrical book stacking, just like the Philadelphia Man's Turbulence of 1947.
a wise ass,
You're right, no human being would stack books like this.
and an uber nerd
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
can also be heroes. It's my number one favorite movie, and it will probably always be my number one favorite movie. If you like this video, I invite you to check out Does This Movie Suck? It's a show where I'm watching some truly horrific movies to see if they've gotten better with age. And go ahead and make sure you click the subscribe box down below so you don't miss any episodes. I'm also going to link a couple of videos in the description. The first is from Every Frame a Painting, and they dive into David Fincher's filmmaking technique, specifically with Seven. The second is from The Nerd Writer, and he looks at the shooting style of Saving Private Ryan. Both videos are excellent. And with that, I'll see you in the comments. Thanks for watching.